And I'll hand over it to Prashant. I'll share Prashant as admin. Making him a host. Over to you, Prashant. Thank you. Prashant, you're there?
Yes, Funny, I'm there.
Okay, you can share your screen and then you can start.
Yes, Funny. Okay. Cool. I hope everybody is able to see the screen. So, again, I'm just writing the same, like if you have the ability to win a certification, so mention us, follow us on the Twitter. You need to follow us and then mention us on the Twitter with the hashtag, whatever you have felt good about the session, so that you can just stand a chance to win a certification voucher. So without wasting any time, okay, I think I've been introduced already. So today I'll be speaking about MuleSoft Composer for Salesforce. So what it is, why Salesforce has brought MuleSoft Composer, okay, and how easy it is to implement do integrations between the two systems using MuleSoft Composer. Okay, yeah. Okay, so today's agenda will be like I'll be speaking about what MuleSoft Composer is for Salesforce, and I'll be speaking about its overview, product features, and the requirements and restrictions as well. In the third part, and then I'll be speaking about what are the components available inside MuleSoft Composer, and then we'll just do a couple of quick real-time demos as well. And at the end, I'll be providing you with the trailhead resources, and we'll just have a Q&A session. Okay, so currently we have different systems, and for an enterprise like companies, right? So enterprise level companies will have the data hosted in different systems. Because of that, there won't be any single source of truth, ideally. Okay, so to make sure that this all the systems are integrated, and just because the person cannot move between one system to another system just to get the data of a single customer, which is hosted or siloed in different systems, right? So that is why we are doing integrations to get data into a single system, right? So to make sure that the integrations are time consuming, and developer has to write the code, he has to test it and make sure that data comes into the system, and probably if tomorrow there's a change in API again, so there will obviously a time consuming process that you'll have to go back and change your integration code and all, right? So to make sure that you meet the business needs, which are performed very frequently, Salesforce came up with one of the technology called MuleSoft Composer, okay, to integrate multiple systems with Salesforce directly with no code. So this is under the platform of no code that Salesforce has been speaking of lately. So what things can this MuleSoft Composer achieve? The first thing is, for sales teams, ideally, because Salesforce is built on Sales Cloud, basically, and it's the primary cloud for all the products later which it has released. So basically, for the sales operations, how can the sales operations be streamlined? So for example, if there are products that are being hosted on Netsuite, Oracle Netsuite, or probably if it is being hosted on Quickbooks, right? So whenever there is a whenever there is a product updates happening, right? So for example, I am a salesperson and I'm trying to upsell my product to one of the customers, right? So whenever I sell a product, obviously the quantity has to be reduced in the primary system, right? So to make sure it happens, we need to do an integration with NetSuite or QuickBooks, whatever the system that we are utilizing to host the products, right? So whenever a particular salesperson is selling the product, immediately the quantity has to be freezed before the product is being sold to the customer, ideally, or else once the quantity has been sold, then ideally the quantity has to be reduced in the primary system to make sure that what quantity is available, it should be visible to the other sales people as well, right? So that is one of the concerns of the sales operations, and through MuleSoft, such a requirement can be fulfilled with clicks and without code. So ideally, without MuleSoft, what you should be doing is you will probably go approach a developer and start, coding with the Netsuite APIs, or probably even Quickbooks API as well, and then make sure that the data sync bidirectional, right? So this would take approximately 1 month, minimum of to maximum 3-4 months as well, right? Because if there are multiple things, not only products, you would also like to generate invoices, right? So QuickBooks have got this feature of generating invoice as well, right? So again, like if you want to do the invoice integration, it would take 1 more month or probably 2 more months for this to happen, ideally, right? So to avoid all this kind of time lags between integrations connecting to systems, so Salesforce has come up to solve this problem with MuleSoft Composer. So that is one of the sales operations that can be automated through MuleSoft with clicks and no code. The second thing is service. So probably to make sure that there are some Jira tickets that are being assigned to the service agents that needs to be resolved. And once they are resolved, you would like to send it back to Salesforce with the status updated, right? So to have a centralized repository of what has been solved and what not. And post that again, if at all you would like to send a Teams message or probably a Slack communication message that this issue has been resolved. So this all can be done in a streamlined process with MuleSoft Composer. You do not need to again go connect first to your Jira and later point of time connect it with Slack or Teams, right? You do not need to do all this kind of coding with in the system. You might need to write multiple triggers that whenever this event happens, you need to trigger it to the teams that, the service, the Jira ticket has been closed. No, all this can be done with MuleSoft Composer itself. And HR, again, like for HRs as well, HRs, these are the people who will be onboarding new employees. So even HRs, how it will be useful. So there is Workday, right? So Workday can be integrated with Salesforce. And whenever a new employee is being onboarded or probably timesheets are being filled on Workday, so that information can be pulled back to Salesforce as well. Okay, so without any doing custom integrations, even the Tableau as well. Like if at all you want the HRs want reporting, or probably executives level team would like to have a forecast reportings and all, you could always be sending the data to Tableau. And then if there is a modifications or a bulk upload is happening on Tableau, you can receive it back to Salesforce as well. Okay, so these are the simple business user needs that can be solved through MuleSoft Composer. So they are fast. Okay, you can do it within minutes, from minutes to within hours. You can close a particular integration as well. So that they are such fast. You have the ability to see the real-time errors as well on the screen itself, like if there are how many API failures have happened, or else how many records have been failed while syncing between the two systems. You can see that even real time. And once you build a connection as well, like you have the ability to even test run it. Okay, it's not that you need to do a you need to wait for some time and do it. All you have to do is do a test run, and it automatically starts the testing process, and it checks if there are connections that are broken or probably that are not well connected, or there might be data that is not properly processing from one node to the another node. That's where it will give you a feedback as well whether this integration of the connections will work properly or not. Okay, so again, as I was speaking again, right? So you do have the MuleSoft Composer that Salesforce has built it for you. So it can integrate apps and data instantly, compose a 360-degree view of the information that is coming into the system. You have the ability to automate and increase the productivity of the agents as well. You can see towards the right, there's a simple animation that's still showing like how MuleSoft can be as well, which we'll be showing seeing at the end. Okay, again, like how it will be utilized by sales buyer or user, you will be able to access the back office sales data instantly from say NetSuite or Quickbooks or probably some other tool as well going forward. So again, like it will improve the efficiency, and then it will help to unlock the sales, rich amount of sales as well. because with the insights that you will be getting, you will be probably concentrating on best leads rather than wasting, not wasting your time on the leads that might not convert or bring back business for you, right? So how it can be utilized for service again. So you will be able to, like, whenever a customer raises a support ticket, so if you want a specific system to be notified, and the ticket will be automatically created in Jira, right? So, or else if Salesforce is creating a ticket, later it has to be flowed to the Jira, or probably after some time, if the ticket is resolved, you will have to inform Slack or probably Teams or some other collaboration tool to have the ability to do so with MuleSoft Composer. Okay, so again, the best use case over here for MuleSoft Composer is, it's not that only admins or developers have to do this. With minimum knowledge of Salesforce, like the data model, if a business analyst does know how a data model of Salesforce is, and he has an idea of how Netsuite data model is, obviously he can come into the picture and automatically start building his own nodes. Okay, it's as simple as that. Even the business teams can start creating their own integrations, and then test them out and release to the environments. It's as simple as that. So again, I'm just giving you simple examples of how the streamlines can be, the operations can be streamlined. Okay, so you do have the ability, again, team collaboration, employee experience, customer experience, and sales experience. I've just given you the examples as well, like what tools can be integrated for that specific purpose as well. Okay, so again, these are different use cases for the sales operations team. If you want to uncover upsell opportunities, probably you could first integrate with Stripe and then send back to Salesforce, and then the collaboration tool might be a Slack or probably Teams as well. Why everywhere we are seeing Slack is because the Slack is now the primary product that Salesforce is keeping it upfront, and even in the marketing as well, your Slack-based marketing is coming into picture, right? So that's why now the Slack is being everywhere in every slide. Okay, you do have the ability to sync between two CRMs. Okay, so for example, the enterprise companies will do have definitely multiple CRMs because they'll have different locations. For example, if European location, and then they would like to host the data in the European server, obviously they'll be purchasing a different CRM for the Europe region, and then different CRM for the North America region, right? But then if you want to keep the two systems in sync and there is some common data that needs to be shared between the two CRMs, ideally what you'll have to do is you'll have to create a connected app, open it and give the API to one of your developers so that they integrate the two systems. But with MuleSoft, you do not need to do all that stuff. So you'll do it within few seconds. Probably based on the amount of nodes that you build, it might need a few hours, right? All you have to do is know what is the flow of the data, and you can do it within a snap. Okay, so that is as simple as that. And again, like you have Google Sheets, Salesforce integration as well. So if you do not want to give access to probably your sales teams to Salesforce, you can just give them a Google Excel sheet that is being hosted on the G Drive. And the moment they fill out a particular row of information, it will automatically push back to the Salesforce. So that's a common, use case. And we do have, again, ledger maintenance as well from Netsuite to Salesforce, invoice accuracy again from Netsuite, Salesforce to Netsuite, and then Netsuite to Xero. Okay, we do have that as well. And different other like order to cash process, like Asana is a production collaboration tool, right? So you do have that ability as well. So if at all you would like to have the forecast, you can always use, again, connect 2 to 3 systems and then link it with the Tableau as well. Okay, so how it will be available for customer service? Okay, so you do have the ability, again, multiple use case over here to streamline field service. If there are people for the field service lightning, right? So we do have agents or else service reps who will be going to the respective locations to get the work done. In that period of time, they would be utilizing some products. Okay, so to probably for an AC repair. So they come to repair the AC, they find that there is a problem with a specific part. So what they do is they first try to check the inventory if there is that particular part is available or not. If that is available, they try to add it to the cart inside the mobile app of Field Service Lightning, and then later that they add it to the respective work order and utilize that particular part. To make sure that this happens, you probably may need to connect different product management tool, right? So with MuleSoft, you will be able to connect that and achieve that within seconds, because the data that syncs, it can be real time, and it can also be on a schedule basis, probably every 15 minutes or 1 hour, or probably 1 month as well. Okay, effective case management, you would be able to achieve that if your teams are using Jira in the first place, and later you would like to sync it back to Service Cloud. And once the ticket is resolved, again, as I mentioned earlier, you can always send back it to Slack. Okay, so again, like, you have the ability to link a Stripe as well. Okay, so it's all about building or bringing all your teams together for collaboration. Okay, so that any team, whoever is doing operations on a different system, will always be synced back to the Salesforce, so that the entire teams are aware of what is the actions that is being performed by sales team, what are the actions that are being performed by the marketing teams, or probably HR or finance or operations team. Okay, and probably even field service teams as well, what are the operations that they are performing, right? And this is all real time. Okay, so again, like, for the employee experience during the onboarding process, Workday or Salesforce connections, and later it sync back to Netsuite or Zendesk, right? So because why in an employee operation, why do you need a Netsuite? Probably if if the company is trying to deliver the work machines and other items, right? Headphones, keyboard, mouse, and all. They would obviously be checked first the inventory, what is available, and then trigger it out to send to the employees, right? So that can be done. Probably upskill and reskill. If there are multiple platforms where these kind of e-learning platforms, and the data has to be synced back whenever a course is completed also, you would be able to do that. And even work.com and Workday integration can be done, because you all know work.com, why Salesforce is projecting work.com, to reopen the offices safely. So whenever I would like to visit an office, since I do not have access to work.com, I can just go to my Workday account and raise a ticket that I would be going to the office at between particular times on a particular date, and then it would sync back to work.com and see whether there is that particular slot available or not for my visit to happen. Okay, such kind of employee engagements can be directly done with MuleSoft connection. Currently, MuleSoft Composer has got 18 connectors available. Okay, you can see them on the screen. But as I see, like, probably every week or every month, there is a new connector being added. Okay, so there is in future, we might even see Workday Finance connections, and then even Google Calendar connection as well. Okay, so it's as simple as. And before going to that slide, yeah. So I did discuss about what is the use case of Netsuite with MuleSoft Composer, right? So billing can be done promptly with Service Cloud on the number of hours that a field service agent has spent. Field inventory management can be taken care of whenever a field agent is utilizing one component. That kind of notification can be sent out to the entire team that this component has been utilized at a particular location. Okay, so that can be done. Invoice accuracy can be achieved when Salesforce and NetSuite can be integrated, right? Because we can automatically push the data of account, contact, and product data directly from Salesforce to NetSuite, or vice versa can also happen. Okay, so ledger management can happen, inventory management and forecast can also be done. So what is the power of MuleSoft Composer that can help connect two Salesforce instances, bidirectional sync between two orgs, which can be achieved. Okay, and or else connect multiple instances to a single primary instance, where the entire data can be pushed back to the primary. For example, if there are a simple use case can be again the similar use case which I mentioned earlier. You have a system in Europe, you have a system in North America, and now you would like to merge these two systems till you have a specific period of time and you would like to merge that. All you have to do is connect these two systems and migrate one of the data into the other system. Okay, so which can be achieved through MuleSoft Composer easily, right? So again, you have the ability to consolidate orgs in mergers and acquisitions as well. Probably your company is trying to merge or acquire the other company. Okay, in that specific the period of time, they would not be able to migrate the entire data. In that case, right, they can still utilize the two instances, but to have a primary instance, they can connect the secondary instance with the primary instance and let the data flow from the secondary to the primary. And again, given customer 360 is getting popular more and more these days. When what is customer 360? When all the systems integrate and push the data into a single source of truth, that's where you will be able to see the entire information about the customer, right? So to make sure that this happens, you have the ability to integrate multiple systems through MuleSoft Composer, and customer 360 can give you all the analytics and also what information you would require about a customer as well. Okay, and all this can be happen without code. So again, you have the power of Jira and MuleSoft Composer, how Jira can be utilized. Again, like customer follow-ups, escalate cases, notify teams of the progress of the tickets, right? All this can be achieved. Again, like this is one more connector that is available. Xero. These are most popular connectors, ideally, like which currently the customers are utilizing. Okay, so Xero is one of the top tools on App Exchange as well. So you have the ability to connect Xero and automatically reduce the cost and with unlimited workflows, because whenever there is a limit of API calls happening with a few of the App Exchange apps, you definitely need to restrict and the budget as well. Okay, because sometimes they happen on the basis of per user license as well. Okay, so you can just avoid that when you purchase MuleSoft Composer, because it runs at a single user, and you'll have the entire information stored, like how many users can whenever they edit a record or contact record or probably product record, the MuleSoft Composer will help sync back to the Xero automatically. You do not need to purchase multiple Xero licenses over here when connected with for integration with Salesforce. Okay, so again, the features of MuleSoft Composer. So it's easy for you to perform integration tasks. Okay, so you can just build and run the flows. It's more easy like a flow itself, but with a better features over here. So you can authenticate. You can authenticate a user for different systems. Okay, so that is one of the advantage. So again, like extract data from connected systems based on an event or a schedule. Okay, so event can be a creation or an updation, or probably you just want to get records and update them onto a second system. You have the ability to do so, or probably you would like to do a nightly run of the batch. You have the ability to do so. You can, the data that you're extracting, right? You have the ability to automatically map them. You do not need to go to the backend to map them. All can be visually displayed in the front end itself, and it's very simple, which I'll be showing you anyways. So you have the ability even to view the sample data. Okay, so for example, my data type of a particular field is text, right? So when I try to integrate two systems, so MuleSoft Composer will give me a preview of what type of data can this particular field will accept. It might be a text or a number or a currency, right? So as long as you go into the backend of the object manager and go into the specific field, you don't know like what data type it is. But MuleSoft do have this ability to visually display what type of data it can accept for that specific field as well. And you have the ability to build custom formula as well, like utilizing merge fields inside MuleSoft Composer directly. Okay, you have the ability to filter the records that you're getting or the data that you're getting based on specific conditions you would like to filter. You have the ability to do so. So again, like you can also do the for conditions, for each conditions as well. So if at all you would like to run the data in different loops, multiple loops also, you have the ability to do so. Okay, so you can synchronize the data, you can just run, monitor, and manage flows. So monitoring, I can show you that as well in the demo. You can also even troubleshoot. Okay, for example, if there is some connection error that has happened after a period of time, all you have to do is just click on connect, and it will automatically try to mend its connection. But if there is a change in the connection that has happened, then probably you can just reauthorize it. It's as simple as that. And all the records that has not been synced till then, once the authorization has been done, they'll automatically be resynced to the secondary system. Okay. Again, like design integrations, it's a no coding platform. Okay. So it can always be built with a few clicks directly inside of Salesforce itself. You do not need to go into a different browser window and do that. It's completely inside Salesforce. all you have to do is open your app launcher and then search for MuleSoft Composer and then do that stuff. Okay. So again, like Jumpstart, you can always, you do not need to go first and search or else buy Netsuite for you to make sure that it is available inside Composer, but it is directly, you do not need to do all that stuff. You have that library of connectors. You choose the connector that you would like to work with, and you can do that. Okay. And as I mentioned, right, you have the ability to do the real-time view of the data. What type of information is being passed from the connection to the other connection? All that can be directly viewed in the preview of the data. Okay, so this runs 24/7, and you have the ability to see the run history as well. How many records have been synced, at what time, which record has been synced, what is its status, whether it's failed or a success, right? So if it's a failed, what is the error log? All that kind of stuff directly appears for you in the error logs as well. Okay, so yeah, so I'll just pause for a minute and see if there are any questions over here. Okay, there are no questions. So what are the requirements to have a MuleSoft Composer in your instance? So first thing is, it should not be a sandbox. Okay, so MuleSoft Composer is not in sandbox yet. Okay, so it should ideally be a production instance or an instance that has this that can be accessed through login.salesforce.com. Okay, so probably it might be an enterprise, performance, unlimited, right? So it can, or else a trial org as well. Like you can just get and try to check out MuleSoft Composer. Okay, but currently trial orgs are not available for MuleSoft Composer. And you can have concurrent users of 25. Okay, that's the maximum number of concurrent users supported by an org for MuleSoft Composer is 25. So it is mandatory to have a Lightning enabled. Okay, because MuleSoft Composer runs on Lightning itself, and it's an add-on SKU. So you need to purchase MuleSoft Composer separately. It doesn't come directly with your instance. Okay, it's an add-on license. Yeah. So if your networks have got stringent firewalls, you need to make sure that this particular domain is allowed. Okay. Because MuleSoft Composer is built on MuleSoft.com. That means like, MuleSoft domain ideally. So you need to make sure that the MuleSoft domain is in the allowed list for your networks, right? So Composer does not support currently mobile platforms. That's one of the points that still yet to be available for mobile platforms, but Composer is still only available on the web platforms. Yeah. So again, I was speaking earlier about run real time or schedule, right? So you have the ability to either run the entire connection in a real time, that whenever you create a new record, just send it to the secondary system, or else you can just do a nightly batch. Okay, you can schedule and leave it, or else probably daily batch or a weekly or a monthly as well. Okay, you can run every Composer or else every flow for every 15 minutes to every month as well. Okay, so that means it can run for every 15 minutes. It's that low, and it's almost equal to real time. So 15 minutes, but then apart from that, it can happen real time within minute as well. It can just have the data interactions between the two systems. Okay, so coming to components of a MuleSoft Composer. So what does it have? It have a connection. So this connection is a configuration that will help you to connect the primary system, at least, because MuleSoft needs to have an authorization to have the data flow from two systems, right? So the first primary system or else the secondary system, you will have to first authorize them inside MuleSoft. Okay, MuleSoft Composer ideally. Okay, inside the Composer, you will have to first set up your connection to make any of the action to be performed. Okay, later you will have to set your triggering condition. What is the triggering point? It might be a creation of a record or an updation of a record or probably deletion of record, right? So such kind of things that needs to happen. You need to make sure that a trigger has to be defined. So when this Composer has to run with this particular connections, right? Can be an event, or probably it occurs on a system and passes the data into the other system as well. Okay, or probably it can happen in a real time, or probably in an elapsed period of time also, there is no problem for that to happen. If else block, you do have the ability to have an if else block. So you can specify the if conditions and make sure that the conditions are evaluated on the and then if the conditions are met, you would like to perform few actions, you can do that. If conditions are not met, you would like to end the process, you have the ability to just end the process in that specific branch. Okay. Okay. So we have action and for each block over here. So for each action, it's a task that performs. Probably would like to create a record inside the secondary system whenever a new record is created inside Salesforce, or a vice versa. Probably whenever a new product has been created inside Quickbooks, and you would like to send that product back to Salesforce and sync it over there in the product object of Salesforce. That's an action, right? And that happens when an event triggers, right? What is the event over here? It's a Quickbooks product creation, right? Inside the product is being created inside Quickbooks, right? That's one of the action that needs to be performed, right? So again, like you have for each block, as I suggested, right? As I told earlier, right? So you have that loop where you can run the number of records, iterate it over the loop, and then pick the specific record, or probably execute your actions for the entire set of records as well. You do have that ability. Okay, so let's go to the demo part. I still see there are no questions. Interesting. Trying to, okay. Perfect. Yeah. So, before this app launcher kind of stuff happens, what are the things that you need to do for the MuleSoft to be enabled? Okay. This is the after you purchase your MuleSoft SKU. Okay. So once you purchase your Composer SKU, make sure that when you search it over here in the quick find, it should be available over here, right? When you search for MuleSoft Composer, it should be available over here. So post that, you have the ability to install MuleSoft Composer as an app exchange, as an app inside the app launcher. Okay, so you have that ability. So you'll have to install the managed package of the MuleSoft Composer. Okay, so you'll have a direct button over here. This is a guided tool. Okay, so you do not need to worry about what will happen in the next step. Okay, so you all you have to do is just click on a button over here and it will install. Then you have the ability to relax the IP restrictions. This has to happen on a connected app. Okay, so you'll have to go to the connected app and in the OAuth policies, right? So MuleSoft Composer, and then in the OAuth policies, you'll have to mention that admin approved users are pre-authorized. Okay, that's something you'll have to do. And in the IP relaxation, make sure that you relax all the IP restrictions that you are placing for a particular profile or at an organization level as well. Suppose that all you have to do is allow MuleSoft Composer to configure MuleSoft services its users. You do not need to do anything over here. Just click on a button and it will automatically connect. Okay, so it will connect to the domain that I was mentioning earlier, right? MuleSoft.com. So that's the domain, right? So it will automatically try to connect with it and it will connect with that particular domain. Later point of time, you have the ability to assign it to users. So you can assign to as many users as you want. Okay, but you have a limitation of 25. So 25 users can be simultaneously being associated. You can either create a, so what you should be doing is you create a permission set and try to assign the permission set to that respective people. Okay, so that can be done with them clicks as well over here. Okay, there is nothing that you need to brainstorm so much for this setup. Okay, so it's directly been provided by Salesforce itself. And again, like this is how once you enable everything, the MuleSoft Composer looks like. Okay, so you have like it's just a product spotlight that they are giving on a homepage, because this is still not there is not much people who are aware of the MuleSoft Composer yet. Okay, so again, like if at all you would like to know basics about that, you'd like to read documentation, you'd like to join the Trailblazer community groups that are available, okay, inside Trailhead, you can directly join from here, and these are the quick access links for that. And you have two ways of creating a MuleSoft Composer flow. You either do it directly from here, or you have the ability to directly come over here and build your flows. Okay, so let's just quickly create two flows. So first one, we'll try to see how we can connect two Salesforce instances. And the second time, we will see how we can connect it to QuickBooks and how a customer can be created whenever a contact record is being created inside Salesforce. Okay, so all I have to do is just click on new button. Okay, so I already have a couple of flows already. Okay, so that I've built to showcase you few other kind of stuff like the error messages and all. Okay, so when I just click on new, it is trying to load for me the Composer view. So this is where I try to build my flow. Okay, so I have three buttons that you're seeing on the top: test, activate, and save. So before you activate anything, you need to make sure that you run a test. Okay, so it's very important because you need to know whether your nodes that you are building, right, they are ideally being connected to the right node or not, or the data that you are trying to pull from a primary source and then that you are trying to push to a secondary source, right? That connection has to be properly connected. If not, you will have errors flowing in your logs. Okay, so as I've already mentioned, right, so we have 12 right now. You have the ability. All you have to do is just, for the first one, we are just doing Salesforce to Salesforce, right? So this is the system event. So choose the system where the trigger happens. Okay, so which is the system that we would like the trigger to happen? It's right now we are doing two Salesforce integration between two Salesforce systems. So we don't have we don't need to think about or brainstorm that much, right? So all I have to do is just click on Salesforce, right? So again, like once I do this, I do have the ability to choose my connections, or if I already have a couple of connections that are there, all I have to do is just choose choose the connection that I want to have. Okay, so if I just click on new connection, I can just name it. And if it's a sandbox instance, right, that I'm trying to first connect my sandbox instance and later point of time connect it to my production instance. So I can do that as well. I can just quickly connect to my sandbox, do my integration, test the flow. Later point of time, once my client approves that I would like to push it or else change it to production, I can do it within Snap. Okay, so I'm not going to initiate connection because post this, it's just a button that I just click on create and it'll open the login page. Okay, so I have a connection already established over here. So I just choose my primary connection now. Okay, now comes the point where this event has to start. So it might be a creation of a record, it might be a updation of a record, or probably deletion of a record. So I'm just saying whenever a new record is created, because you can also choose updated, but you need to have an external ID. So that external ID can be an email ID as well if you are trying to create a contact, because ideally you do not want to have a duplicate contacts inside system. You will definitely take care of that, right? So since you want the other system from the other system also to be identified, what is its external ID or the common ID that needs to be identified through query, because this also in the back end runs with queries, right? So you can choose an external ID for that. But for now, I'm just going with a new record itself. Okay, so what is the object that I'm going to choose? So I can either just go with a lead or else a contact as well. That's absolutely fine. Okay, you can also do with a contact. Right? So I can just choose that. Once I choose this one, so it's just trying to get the fields. Okay, what are all the fields that are available? Notice there is this sample output that I was speaking about earlier. Okay, the moment I just choose the fields that I want, automatically it will try to show what is the sample kind of data that these fields are trying to retrieve from the connection. Right. So now I just want a couple of fields. I just do not want all the fields. Right. I can just say email because it's kind of normal that we need to have an email and a last name, right? So these are the mandatory things, right? We generally have. So I'm just choosing two fields now, right? And then I'm just going to the next step. Okay. It's similarly kind of a flow. All you have to do is just click on plus button and give you what needs to be happen next. Okay. So I am just saying next is now I got the data. Now I need to create the data in the secondary system, right? So again, what is my secondary system? It's a separate Salesforce instance, right? So I just choose it. Okay. And then I choose my secondary system that I have already pre-configured it. If I just do not want that to happen, right, I can just click on change connection. Okay. And I can just click on add connection and just say test, or probably it's a sandbox. I can just click on sandbox and just click on create. It's as simple as that. You'll have to input your connect information over here, and then it will create automatically the connection. But if you just do not want the connections, you can even delete the connection. Whatever the connection that you have created earlier, you can always delete that as well. Okay. So I am just trying to close that. Okay. Now you can see I did not refresh or do anything. It automatically pre-populated the sample output. What is the kind of information that I'm trying to retrieve from the previous system, right? So that is obviously there over here. Okay. So if I just come back again, like you have the ability to choose fields like birth date, phone number. Probably I can just say birth date. Okay, as well. I do have the ability. Okay, so I can just come down. Okay, now I have initiated my secondary system where the data has to be flowed. So I'm just saying create a record again, because I want whenever a record has been created in my primary system, I want the similar thing to be created in my secondary system as well. So I just want to do it in a contact over here. So I just click on add fields again, because what is the information I'm extracting from my previous connection? I would like to send the same information to my secondary connection. So I would be choosing the same fields again over here. So I will choose email. I will choose last name. Probably I'll just choose full name over here. Okay, I'll just choose. Okay, I can choose that. Okay, okay, last name is mandatory, so it has already been populated. I have the one called as birth date, right? I'll just choose the birth date as well. Okay, now you got the fields. What about mapping these things, right? You need to map, right? So all I do is I just click on this. It's kind of if I have to speak in the developer terms, right? It's like on change, right? So if I just click on this, automatically all the fields that I'm already extracting from the top connection will automatically appear over here. I just need to choose. Nothing, no writing code or anything. Okay, I just need to choose. I just need to choose, right? Now I have some other field as well, something called as description, but I just want to pass some default information in it, right? So I would just say lead going from primary, sorry, contact, right? All I do is just click on custom expression and I just say contact going from primary dev or okay, and I can just say this one, or else I can just name it all. Okay, so I have the ability to use kind of merge fields. If I have to speak of an admin terminology or emails terminology, it's kind of a merge field that I'm just trying to pull this information and put it over here, and just say contact flowing from primary DevOps to the secondary. Okay, and then just click on apply. So whenever a new record is created in my primary instance, it will create a similar record in my secondary instance as well. But in the description, we'll be able to see last name contact flowing from primary DevOps to the secondary DevOps. Okay, so now my data is done. Okay, so now I do not want to do any other steps. Okay, so I just want to do a test. Okay, as I've mentioned earlier, as long as you're 100% sure that the flow is perfectly accurate, because I am pretty sure over here, because we just have 2 steps. But if you're trying to build in a larger flows, then it's very, very important that you need to test it, right? So when I just click on test, it just asks me to name my Composer flow. So I'm just naming it as demo 1 and just click on apply. And it's waiting for the test to start. So it will take some time for the test to happen as well. Okay, because it has to make sure that the connections established. It will go get the connection and waiting for the trigger event and all that stuff. You can see the progressing, that is happening, right? So it will try to pass a test record and see if that is being performed properly or not. Okay, so that's something that can happen. It takes a couple of minutes as well to test the entire connections and all that stuff. Okay, so I'll just stop it. Okay, so that's how you test start the test and all. What I'll be doing is I'm just trying to activate this now. Okay, so my flow is ready. it is now, I just activated it. So it will first go start activating it, the process. Okay. So let's wait for a couple of seconds, probably a few seconds till the activation is completely done. Okay. You can just collapse the steps as well. You have that ability. So, okay. So meanwhile, I'll just try to log in my instance, the data that I'll be passing on, right? Still activating. Okay. So I think let it activate. Meanwhile, we can see what I've done with the other flow as well. Okay. So I have this SF that I've built previously to show you like how what is the test case, how the logs will appear for you and all. Okay. Yeah, this is done. So let's go to our primary org. Okay. Let's go to the contact. Right. And let's try to create a new contact over here. Okay. So I just click on new. Okay, I don't have anything in the email. Fill my email as well. I'm not doing anything in my birth date. Okay, I'm just clicking on save. Okay, so I've created a record now. Okay, ideally the composer has to get this record and send and create a new record in the destination instance as well. Okay, so it will take a few seconds to a couple of minutes to sync the process. Okay, later point of time you'll get the run history. So I'll show you that as well, like how it does look as well. But for now, you have the ability to see this now. Okay, so if there are any failures that are happening, you have this ability. And what is the error message, right? So there is a fail send request that is happening between the instance, right? So you do have that ability to see what is the fail send request. Okay, so there is an issue that is there with this particular syncing process, right? So you can also see that. Okay, so you can see the contact has been successfully created in the destination instance. So let's go and see. This is my destination instance. And just go all contacts. Okay, I'll just say create it. Right, just yeah, sorry. This is the one that I've just created, right? My email, my name, right? This is the one that I just created, right? So it's not displaying my name. So I didn't map my first name, if you remember. Okay, the flow that I created, right? So if I just go back to the flow, I never mapped my first name anywhere. Did I map my first name? No, right? So that's why it just took my last name, because I just mapped my last name, and I also queried only my last name over here. I didn't even query my first name, right? So whatever the information that I queried, right? Only that information has been passed on to the secondary system over here. Okay, I didn't query all other fields like title, first name, salutation, and all, right? So that's why the information has not passed. Though if I submit the information over there, that data will not be passed as long as you don't map the information over here. Okay, so you do have that ability. So again, like you can always deactivate it. Okay, so if you do not want to happen for a specific few days, you can always come back, deactivate, and again activate them at a later point of time as well. Okay, so you do have that ability. Now let's see the other system that I would like to connect. It's I have already built that, so I'll just walk you through over that, like what can we do in that. Okay, so over here, like we are just trying to connect QuickBooks and Salesforce. Okay, so whenever a record is being created inside Salesforce, probably it's a contact record that is creating inside Salesforce. I am just trying to trigger out the same information and pass it to the QuickBooks to create a customer inside QuickBooks. Okay, for an invoice in the QuickBooks to be initiated, we do require customer inside QuickBooks. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I have a connection in place. So I just try to create a connection, and I'm trying to extract all the fields that I require. Okay, and then I just have like what all needs to be mapped onto the QuickBooks. I'm just doing that. Let's do that as well. Okay, come again. Now I try again, as I mentioned earlier, I just click on new flow. Now first I try to find out what is my initial connection that has to take place. Now, like, once I activate it, can I come back again and change my connections? Yes, you can always come back again, edit the particular flows and change your connections. Okay. Yeah. So, I'll just click on add connection. I'll choose again the similar connection that I'm trying to do. Whenever a new record is created, I want that to happen. So I want to do whenever a contact record is getting created. So I'll just choose all my fields that I want, because I don't know what fields I might utilize them going forward. So I just click on this step. Now I have, I just want to discuss about these blocks as well for in this particular use case. I have the ability to utilize if condition. I can just say if last name is not empty, then only I would like to, create the record, right? So I just inside the if condition, I choose this to happen. Okay, so I just choose QuickBooks. Okay, I have the connection in place. Otherwise, it's a similar process. You just need to click on this, give a connection name. It will open a pop-up for you, and automatically you need to enter your QuickBook credentials that I'm trying to enter and logging in, and then automatically the connection establishes. You do not need to put any API. I do not need to put client ID, client secret as well in this particular composer. Okay, you just need to initiate, because this happens all through auth connected. Okay, so I know I just want to create a customer inside QuickBooks. I'm just trying to create a correct customer. First, it will try to display all the fields that are required for a customer to be created inside QuickBooks. It will give me a sample output. So what is the output that I should be expecting for a particular field, right? So I do have that ability. What is the display name? I'm just saying last name. I'm just choosing it. Okay. Phone, I can also choose the phone over here. Okay. It might be a home phone or an email also. Okay. I can just say email, because I'm just querying the entire fields. Remember, I'm just trying to query the entire fields over here. So that's why I'm able to map all the fields over here. You can just say title, okay, whatnot. So I'll just quickly try to fill all this information. Family name, I'll just put last name. Okay. Company name, billing address. So I'll just say street, because we have street, city, state. So again, like, inside Salesforce, like you will not be able to access the fields individually, but unless until you are a developer and you go to code and you try to access contact.mailing city, contact.mailing state kind of stuff, right? So you can always fill this entire stuff. Later point of time, like if at all you would like to run a loop, you have the ability to run a loop as well. Okay, and you can always you can always define if it's a schedule flow as well, which I would like to showcase to you. I'll just discard these changes. And since we are running out of time as well, I just would like to show you like how schedule flow also, what are the features inside a schedule flow. Okay, so if I'm just coming over here and trying to okay, so you have a scheduler. Okay, you just choose the scheduler. When do you would like this particular composer to run? From 15 minutes starting to entire 30 days, you do have the ability for the scheduler to run. You choose the time, that's it. Again, the general normal process that you would be doing. Okay, you do not need to do anything. Okay, you can trigger a message to Slack, you can trigger a data and push it to Tableau for the analytics, whatnot. You can do everything over here. Okay, it's as simple as that. So you do not need to write a Apex class again to schedule this process and all. Okay, not necessary. All you have to do is just okay. So let's see whether the records are getting created inside QuickBooks. Okay, so we have a QuickBook connection that I've already established. I'm just create whenever a new contact is being created, I'm just pushing that onto my QuickBooks as a customer. Okay, so I come over here, I try to create a new contact. Okay, so let's see. You guys hear me? Oh, perfect. Okay, so let me. Taking. Okay. Okay, perfect. So I just go, I create something called as Chandra over here, just giving some home stuff. Okay, so I'll just give my email. Probably I will just give my address as well, right? I'll just do that. Create, I'll just do. Moment I just click on save, we'll just go back to, we can just go and see whether this particular flow has run or not. Okay, it's a success now. Let's go into QuickBooks and see whether a customer has been created. You can see we just have one customer now. Just trying to refresh it. Let's see if we have a second customer as well with the name Faninga. Oh yeah, okay. It's as simple as that. Okay, so all you have to do is few clicks and your integrations are done. Okay, now you can see we have second customer. Similarly, you can do for invoices as well. You do have that ability. Okay, so once you have this customer created, you can always do the invoice. If at all you have any errors, right? So you can always check what are those errors as well. And MuleSoft has special ability. It will always test the connection whenever you're trying to open. Okay, it will check whether the authorized connection is still in working stage or not. Okay, if you do not want that connection to happen, you can always come back, deactivate this particular composer flow, and then all you have to do is just click on switch connection, and automatically it will be you have the ability to switch the connection. Okay, now for now I have built it. Now my sandbox is perfectly working fine, right? So do I need to build this entire flow or deploy this entire flow into my production? No, because the flow is already built inside production itself. All I have to do is just change connection, nothing else. Nothing else matters over here. You just need to come over here, just click on change connection, change, confirm, done. Okay, if you have similar fields, automatically all those fields will be selected. Okay, because obviously all the integrations happen on the basis of metadata. Just need to activate. Would like to add multiple steps, you have the ability to add multiple steps. As I was discussing earlier, you have the ability to create an invoice as well. You have the ability to get the item, query the invoice, and then update the item records as well. Okay, if you would like to do that. So if you have this get invoice, you would like to create an invoice over here, right? So you have the ability to create an invoice as well. Okay, or else, sorry, this is get invoice. So you can just retrieve the invoice from QuickBooks. Okay, but if you would like to create an invoice, again, there are multiple steps over here. You would like to fill the information. What is the customer ID, right? I'm just giving some random dummy data, but you have the ability to see once you fill out the entire information, you have the ability to just, you have a refresh over here that will pull out the information and see what is the type of data that is accepted over here. Okay, so you have that ability. Like you can always like save the information later, come back and re-edit this or activate and test this. Okay, pretty much that's it from my side for today. You have any questions? I would be able to answer them. If not, we can just quickly go back to your slides. Okay, make sure you have. Oh yeah. So if workflow process builder on there is update field selected, then also the MuleSoft workflow process builder on contact or opportunity. Okay, if you are updating any field, okay, Funny has already answered that. Yes, it does, because you are already updating a particular record on both of the objects. No, there there is no limit as such, but you need to have a license to run this particular process. Okay. That is the only limit. Active number of flows. I didn't find anything because I have already created almost 14 flows till now and simultaneously activated them, but I didn't find any limit till now. But I'll have to do a search for that, like what is the limit of active flows. Okay. There shouldn't be anything as such, but probably if there is, then you might need to find that. Any other questions apart from that? Okay. So do join Singapore Marketers Group community. Okay. So, we are directly posting so many events and all that stuff. Okay. You could see, like, if at all you would like to have a event on a specific topic also, make sure like you can just go to the group inside Trailhead and then post whatever you would like to have or would like to hear in your future sessions as well. You do have that ability. And follow us on Twitters. Because there are multiple other sessions like Commerce Cloud, that is B2B commerce, that is happening simultaneously on the group. Okay, so I'll be sharing these links. And just share those links as well. Again, regarding the resources, okay, we have the 2022 agenda over here. Like you would be able to join this group meetings. We have B2B Commerce Cloud series that is parallelly running. Since last week, it has been started. It's a wonderful session, and it's a hands-on workshop as well. Like we are trying to build something. So what is that? You will have to attend and see that what we are trying to build in the B2B Commerce Cloud series. In the March, we are going to have a CDP series. It's a data platform that we are trying to combine data platform. We are building the entire information inside a single source of truth. So how that can happen is something that in the March and April months, you'll be able to see that. It's cross-cloud integration series that will happen parallel in the April month. You'll be able to see like what integrations are possible. AWS, GCP, Snowflake, okay, even RPA. Funny is an expert in RPA. He's a certified expert and architect in RPA as well. You will be able to see that. In May, we have an exciting series of velocity industries. Okay, what is a velocity and all, you will be able to see that. And before I conclude, right, I forgot to showcase like what are the articles and Trailhead links that are available. Sorry, I just displaced this in a wrong. Yeah. So, no, not this. Yeah. So you have Trailhead modules. I think this deck will be shared by Funny a later point of time once the session is over. We have three Trailhead modules. Okay. So one is for what is Composer basics. And the second one is installation and configuration. How you can install and configure. There is no hands-on in this though, but it just gives you the steps on how you could install and configure the MuleSoft Composer. And you have one more thing, that's democratized innovation through citizen integration. That's one more other Trailhead module that you would like to go and check on MuleSoft Composer. You have a mini courses. All you have to do is just go to mulesoft.com/content/composer training. It's a free platform, again, similarly kind of a Trailhead, where you can just go and learn about MuleSoft. So it's a self-paced learning platform. You have a collaboration group on now. It's a charter group on Trailhead. you can join that, and probably you can see like what all other people are trying to implement on MuleSoft Composer. Okay, there is an admin hub that is going to come soon for MuleSoft Composer as well, so stay tuned for that. So it's not that it's not the product evaluation has completed. The product is still in the evaluation phase. So there are more other connectors that are coming, the more amount of connectors are being added onto the Composer as well. Okay, so yeah, I can do that also. Okay, so this is for MuleSoft. Yeah, so anybody have any questions? I can answer them. If not, I can close the session for today. I hope, okay, I don't see anything. Yeah, so I hope the session is at least useful for a few of them, like, what MuleSoft Composer is, how you can achieve that. And, you might have also saw the real-time integration, how it's happening between the two systems. Always do reach out to me if you have any other questions on MuleSoft Composer, because we are doing some real-time implementations at our organization. So you can always ping me on Twitter or LinkedIn, then you can ask those questions, or funny as well.
Thank you, Prashant, for a wonderful session. I think it's a great insightful session where low-code platform, and there are a lot of connectors and built with Salesforce platform to connect with multiple personas. I think it's a good session for everyone. I think that's all for today, team. And thanks for joining. And a very happy weekend. And let's connect on Saturday. We have a B2B Commerce Cloud session 2 on Saturday, 1 p.m. Singapore time. So let's connect with that session and have a grateful day and a grateful evening. Thank you so much for joining again. Thank you. Bye-bye.